It's 2020, I haven't made a video yet this year, so I thought I would make this one, which, as you can tell by the title, is going to be about the organisation tactics that I use to not drown in everything I have to do all of the time. If you don't follow me on other social medias, my Instagram or my Twitter, plug, you might not know that I am currently studying a master's, and I have found myself substantially more busy than I have ever been in my life. Recently on Instagram, I have had a lot of questions about the things I've posted on stories showing my sort of organisational and productive methods and tactics, and a lot of people have asked for like a full-length video, so I thought I would oblige. I also kind of wanted to, you know, that's part of this video making thing. There's something about organisation and like this sort of content that I really love and have sort of wanted to delve into, but I've never had like a method that I specifically used or worked for me that I like trusted and was confident with until now, so I haven't really wanted to make anything properly about it. But here we are. I was, and still sometimes am, an incredibly messy and unorganised person. I have gone through life writing things on the back of my hand, forgetting things, which for somebody who has anxiety just like is not productive at all. Especially in the last year of my undergrad and doing my masters, I sort of have had to become this organised Angela, so it was more out of necessity than out of choice. I've always wanted to be one of these really productive, organised people. I would constantly buy notepads and journals and things like that to try and get on top of my life, but it's never really worked until sort of the discipline came into play. If you're somebody who's like clicked on this video or watches loads of productivity content and is like, but I'm so messy, I'm a creative mind, not an organised mind, I am also one of those people at my core, so I totally get that. I also get not feeling like you're doing good enough because you're not bullet journaling or any of these things. I'm definitely somebody who's like learnt to love it. I always loved the idea of it but could never do it in practice, so I've kind of gone from like this creative mind to the organisedness, and now I love it. A lot of like the prerequisite to all of this stuff is like, you are worth so much more than the things you are ticking off a to-do list, which I know is very difficult to remember because I struggle with that. You are not automatically a better person because you write a to-do list and you tick things off. That does not make you a better person than somebody who doesn't write to-do lists or doesn't use Todoist or doesn't subscribe to the idea of productivity. We also live in a capitalist society that encourages people to do this whole productivity, I'm only worth something if I'm currently working towards something. We live in a society that pushes that because it helps capitalism, it feeds into it. There's the other side of it where if your mental health isn't good, it's really difficult to like have the drive to do these things. It's really difficult to self-discipline yourself to get stuff done all day, every day. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So to-do lists, getting stuff done, being productive does not make you a better person, in the same way that if your mental health isn't allowing you to do these things, forgive yourself for that. That's fine. It truly does not matter if you're not constantly ticking things off a to-do list. Because to me, this whole productivity organisation thing is very much like boring self-care. I think no matter how difficult I find it sometimes to kind of get up and get going and have the drive to do these things. I mean, there's days where like I don't. Self-discipline is boring self-care because even though it's not sort of methods of self-soothing, like having a bath with a bath bomb or watching your favourite film in bed, this to me is a method of self-care in the sense that it's like, okay, these are the things I need to get done. If I get them done, I will inevitably feel better. I also am a believer of this idea that motivation is not the be-all and end-all. I am motivated very rarely. Like today I woke up motivated to make a video, but I don't wake up like, oh my god, yes, I want to write a to-do list today. You might think this is all bollocks, but whatever. This is like what I think before I start talking about organisation stuff. Now I've said all of that bit, there's two main ways that I keep on top of things basically. The first way is it's just my calendar. I use the one that's built into Mac and iPhone, like the Apple calendar. This is something I update weekly usually, or like as and when an event comes up or something I need to remember for a certain day comes up, basically I'll load in all of my like standard events, so things that I know that I do every day, like lectures or dodgeball practice, or you know, things that I know are happening. I'll load them in first. That's like the weekly thing done, and then anything else that I know is happening obviously gets put in afterwards. I mentioned on my Instagram recently that I do things called weekly resets, which are usually a Sunday job. These weekly resets are something that Michelle B talks about. I will link her videos on weekly resets in the description. This is very much her tool that I've sort of implemented and changed a little bit. The basics of it is sort of you sit down on a Sunday night, you go through everything you need to do in the next week, so you brain dump all of the tasks. I go through all of my emails and move events over to my calendar, go through my calendar so I know what I'm doing, and then like write a to-do list for the next day usually. It's basically just so everything that's whizzing around in your mind that you're like, okay, I can't forget that, or I need to remember to do that, it gets written down on a Sunday so you're ready for the next week. I will link all of her information because she's great. Her content on like intentional living and productivity is wonderful. I did a sort of series of stories about how I do my weekly resets. There is a highlight on my Instagram, so I will link that as well. But if people want like an in-depth how I do mine, I'm happy to do that. Just like be aware that it obviously was not my original idea. My calendar keeps me organised. Absolutely everything goes in my calendar. Anything I'm doing that week, or anything that's due, or anything that I need to remember to do on certain days. So like the days my rent is due go in my calendar. Coffee with a friend goes in my calendar. Literally anything that's going on that week, because I'm very much somebody who, if it isn't written somewhere, I will forget, because I like go through life just being like, oh, I need to remember that, oh, I need to remember that, and it will eventually just like fizzle out somewhere. That brings me on to my next thing. Because I have to write everything down, I have a journal. I literally do not leave the house without this. It's also really messy. This is my second one since starting uni. It's just like one of the paper chase A5 notepads. Everything goes in this. A phone number, it gets written down. To-do lists get written here. If I like read something on Instagram that I find interesting, it goes in here. I'll also do like actual journaling in it. I'll stick things in and write about them. I write a to-do list for every single day. The first thing I always write is wake up, because then I know that I've at least done the first thing on the to-do list. When you know you've got a lot of things to do, it's sort of like easy to have one already done. Ignoring the Little Women, although that's an excellent film. I'll write the date, all of the things, little boxes next to them. But literally anything goes on my to-do list. If there's a message I need to reply to, or I need to make my bed, or do laundry, or like submit an essay, literally anything I'm doing that day will go on my to-do list. That's obviously all well and good, but a lot of the time there are little things that I don't specifically need to do on a certain day, or like aren't happening on a certain day but need to get done in a specific week. And that's where the weekly resets work with the to-do lists. In the weekly resets, like I said, I do a brain dump of everything I know I need to get done in that week. All throughout that week, when I wrote my daily to-do lists, I would refer back to the brain dump, and if there was something that I knew I could get that done that day, as well as all the things I needed to, it would filter into the daily to-do lists. So that basically means that I always have a check on what I know needs to get done that week, as well as the daily things, and I can even it out and keep it balanced and know that I'm not just like loading everything into a day, because I think that's what I struggle with. If I know I need to get a lot done and it's really overwhelming, I will just like put it all on a page and be like, right, I need to do all of this today, which like is obviously not attainable. By splitting it up like that and being able to be like, okay, these are the things I need to do today, what like other little thing can I add? Another method I use of like prioritizing and not overwhelming myself is, if it takes 5 minutes, just do it rule. So if I wake up, write my to-do list, and there's things in there like put a wash on, or message this person, or draft this email, then I know those things aren't going to take me more than 5 minutes. So I mark their little box in a different colour, so I'll just like highlight it purple. So then I know the ones with little purple boxes are just ones that I can get finished, get done. That means I can then get on with the bigger things, and it sort of breaks the day down a little bit more. If I get to the end of the day and there's things that I haven't finished, those get highlighted in green, and then that means I know that they need to be rescheduled to the next day. I very, very rarely do a day where nothing gets highlighted in green and nothing gets rescheduled, and that's okay, because 2020 is all about forgiving ourselves, unlearning things, and looking after our brains. Cool. As I said, these are just the methods that work for me. I've tried, using reminders on my phone. I tried Todoist for a while. I've used Todoist in the past and I just have issues with it. Todoist is like a desktop and phone app. It's really good for to-do lists, but it has this point system, so you get points for everything you complete, like how many you complete in a day, which is great and holds you accountable, and it's like a little game. My Amy Santiago-esque mind just doesn't need the extra grading system, right? I don't need the extra stress. I will do that myself. So yes, those are the basics of what I do to keep on top of everything. I do my degree, which is thesis writing, and then assignments as well. And then I'm currently on a Unislam poetry team and a dodgeball team, and I just kind of do extracurriculars as well as normal writing, just content creating. There's lots of little pockets of my life that have to come together somewhere, and that notepad is where they come together, and my calendar is where they come together. I can see everything all color-coded on the screen. But yes, they are the basic methods I use to keep on top of everything in my life. I really enjoy organisational content and this sort of thing, so this video's fun. I like being here's all my methods, it's so cool. A lot of people were interested in this process, so if there's other sort of organisational videos you'd want to see from me, let me know, drop a comment. Oh, it's been so long since I've done this, I'm so awkward. I very much recommend Michelle B's channel, which I will link with the weekly resets, and also just her intentional living videos, and then Thomas Frank. I've spoken about this before on my channel, 10 steps to earning awesome grades while studying less. He makes videos on YouTube. I will link both of those, they're really cool. It's also good if you're, I really need to get stuff done, or I need to tidy my room. I whack on a Michelle B video and I'm suddenly yes, I am the tidiest person on the planet. That's good motivational content. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was informative in some sort of way. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.